f of x equals to negative a to the x to the power positive b. The function f is defined by the equation above where a and b are constants. The graph of g of x is formed by taking the graph of f of x and translating it both 6 units in the negative x direction and 2 units in the negative y direction. The x-coordinate of the x-intercept for the graph of g of x is negative 3 and g of negative 6 equals to 61 over 64. What is the value of a? Okay, here we have the function f of x, and the question says we have to apply two transformations on the function f of x to get the graph of the function g of x. So the two transformations are 6 units in the negative x direction, 2 units in the negative y direction. Negative x direction means it is an horizontal translation to the left, and negative y direction means it's a vertical translation down. Okay, since we do horizontal translation of 6 units to the left, the x in the function f of x has to be replaced by x positive 6. And since we do a vertical translation of 2 units down, that is the negative y direction, y in the function f of x has to be replaced by y positive 2. Okay, when we do horizontal translation to the left, we use positive sign. In case we do horizontal translation to the right, instead of positive, we'll have to take negative sign. And the same thing, when we do vertical translation down, we use positive sign over here. When we do vertical translation up, instead of positive, we have to use negative. Okay, now let me take the given function f of x as y equals to f of x. According to the instruction, we have to apply the two transformations over here. That is translating 6 units in the negative x direction, 2 units in the negative y direction. Then we have to replace this y by this y positive 2. We get y positive 2 over here. F of, we have to replace this x by x positive 6. Let me do it. Okay, since I have applied the given two transformations on the function f of x, now it has become the function g of x. Since it has become the function g of x, we can replace this y by g of x. Then we get g of x positive 2. Now to get the stuff for f of x positive 6, we have to plug in this x positive 6 for x over here. The same we have to do on the right side. That is, we have to plug in this x positive 6 for x over here. Then I'm getting negative a to the power of x positive 6 positive b. Now let me solve for g of x. For that we have to get this positive 2. Okay, now let me subtract 2 from both sides of this equation. Then positive to negative will cancel out. I am getting the function g of x on the left side. On the right side we have negative a to the power of x positive 6 positive b negative 2. Okay, here we got the function g of x. Now let me consider this particular piece of information. That is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept of the graph of g of x is negative 3. So this negative 3 is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept. Okay, in an x-intercept, always the y-coordinate is 0, and the question says the x-intercept is negative 3 for the graph of the function g of x. Okay, here in this one, this g of x represents a y. So we can plug in this y-coordinate 0 for here, and this x-coordinate negative 3 for x over here. Then I'm getting 0 equals to negative a to the power of negative 3 positive 6 positive b negative 2. Okay, 0 equals to negative a. When I simplify this one, I'm getting exponent 3 positive b negative 2. Okay, here there are two unknowns. One is a and the other one is b. According to the question, we have to find the value of the unknown a. Okay, now to get the value of this unknown a, we must find the value of this unknown b. Okay, how do I have to find the value of b? For that, we can consider this information. That is g of negative 6 equals to 61 over 64. Here we have negative 6 at the place of x. Now what we can do is we can plug in this negative 6 for x over here and here. Then I'm getting g of negative 6 equals to negative a to the power of negative 6 positive b negative 2. And we have value for this g of negative 6, that is 61 over 64. Let me plug in. Okay, here negative a to the power of negative 6 positive 6 will become 0 positive b negative 2. Okay, 61 over 64. The value of this a to the 0th power is just 1, that is negative 1 positive b negative 2. Okay, let me continue over here. That is 61 over 64 equals to b. When I combine negative 1 and negative 2, I am getting a negative 3. Okay, now let me add 3 to both sides of this equation. Negative 3 positive 3 will cancel out. I am getting 61 over 64 positive 3 equals to b. Here we add a fraction and an integer. When I add a fraction and an integer, I have to multiply this integer by this denominator. Then we can take this 64 as a common denominator. Let me do it. 61 positive. 64 times 3 is 192. And now we can take this 64 as a common denominator equals to b. Okay, let me continue over here. When I add 61 and 192, I am getting 253. In denominator we have 64. Here on the right side we have b. Okay, here I got the value of b, that is 253 over 64. Okay, now what we can do is we can plug in this value of b, 253 over 64 here in this equation and solve for a. Okay, now let me do it. That is 0 equals to negative a cube positive, and for this b we can plug in this value 253 over 64 negative 2. Okay, now let me add a cube to both sides of the equation. When I do so, this negative a cube, positive a cube will cancel out. On the left side, when I come in 0 on positive a cube, I am getting a cube. On the right side, we can simplify this one. That is, we do subtraction between a fraction and an integer. Now we have to multiply this integer by this denominator. Then we can take this 64 as a common denominator. Okay, let me do it. 253 negative 64 times 2 is 128. Now we can take 64 as a common denominator. Okay, here a cube equals to, when I simplify 253 negative 128, I am getting 125 over 64. Then we get a cube equals to, now we can write this 125 as 5 to the third power and this 64 as 4 to the third power. Okay, let me continue over here. A cube equals to, here we have two powers in a fraction with the same exponent. Now we can write this exponent 3 in common, that is 5 over 4 raised to the power of 3. Okay, now two powers are equal with the same exponent. Whenever two powers are equal with the same exponent, what we can do is we can equate the bases. Then we get a equals to 5 over 4. Okay, here I got the value of a, it's 5 over 4.